after Kit, we have this like microphone thing going on where I have to readjust it completely. Can you all hear me okay? Or is this like, yeah? Okay, cool. So I am going to read a story to you tonight from above Sugar Hill called When It Breaks. But before I do that, I just wanted to say something about the book and about Influx Press, which is that... Okay, cool. Okay, so Above Sugar Hill is a collection of stories set in Washington Heights, which is the neighborhood that I grew up in New York City. It's, if you picture Manhattan, this long skinny island, it's right at the top of the island. And Margaret Gomez, who's a comedian that came from there, said that when she was trying to explain to people where she came from, she would basically explain it's a suburb of Harlem. And what happened was I moved away from there and I moved back in the mid-1990s and I was trying to make some sense of the place and I started writing these stories and I kept writing them even years apart. And then I came across Influx Press and I was thinking how much those stories sort of defined who I was and stuff that I carried around with me. And then I saw this press that was doing site-specific work, and I went, whoa. So that's kind of how the book came out, and I'm really glad Influx is there. This story is going to require some audience participation. So it's a very short story, but there are a few reporters in it who would, and I would like to see if there are 7 people who could read one line from it. And basically I'll just hand you a page from the story, and that'll be your number. And then when I get to the last line, if you could just kind of start reading those lines in order, I'll pick up the story from there. So does anyone feel like being a reporter tonight?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. Anyone else? I've got 3 more here.
You don't have to put on a New York accent. It's fine.
I sort of, I feel a little like I'm teaching a class right now. Do I have any more? You can do it whenever accent comes to you. Okay, so you know where number 1 comes. Okay, great. Okay. And I just want to say that part of this story, that it came out of something that happened when I returned to New York, which is that I heard about the side of a building being in like incredible disrepair, and the side of it just falling off while people were living in it. And a lot of the story is fictional. The story is kind of imagining what it was like for people who lived there. But everything that you hear about the landlord from the reporters, that's all verbatim. When it breaks. When the side of the building falls, it is a spring morning, April, not yet dawn, and there is no warning. The crack was there for a long time, all up the side, visible on every floor. Everything's broken, all broken. You can't worry about these things. What Sandra's mother told her. You stop worrying, you do your homework and get to sleep, and stop this childishness. When the side of the building falls, Sandra is lying in bed. She feels it before it happens. The folding in of bricks, the dismemberment of 5 stories of concrete. The room is shaken. She is shaken, as if the building itself is angry at her. Well, maybe it is. All along, there have been hints she has done something wrong. That all of them have done something wrong to land here. The labor required to take baths, the heating of water on the stove, The coats and sweaters that must be worn throughout the winter indoors, as if the cold radiator is punishing them. The skittering shapes in the shadows of grime-caked halls. The presence of rats multiplied from fear of seeing them in full light. When the side of the building falls, Sandra hears the shouts and wakes up, the voice of the lady in 3C like a siren, howling over and over. My God, my God, my God! A baby's wails gaining volume, a man shouting orders in Spanish, his authority leaking away as each sentence dissolves into a sob. Through a haze of dust, a pre-dawn raininess, Sandra sees the building across the courtyard. The lights in the windows that have come on. The other apartment house solid. Her mother's hand closes around her upper arm, yanks her from the bed as if an infraction of hers has been discovered, and now she's going to get it. What the hell's wrong with you, her mother hears. Siobhan, baby sister of her nation, is hoisted onto her mother's hip, blinking placidly. The satisfaction of the youngest, the good girl, the lightest. You stay with me, her mother orders. Sandra is pulled to her feet, mother's hand digging into her skinny bicep. Nylon nightgown letting loose that smell of her mother's cologne and sweat, stale chemical flowers, fingers clamping closed on her from fear and anger, another bruise. When the side of the building falls, they go thundering down the stairs, all of them, their feet tumbling against the concave steps, the weight of bodies echoes in her stomach. She moves automatically with the rest. They run behind her, in front of her. There is no way to stop. They leave the building in fading April gray, shoved out by mother's hands, carried out by brothers, or grasping a metal glint of a walker and shuffling in support house. Night air snaps against skin. Sandra does the accounting. Mr. Montaldew in an undershirt, no trousers, never before glimpsed without a hat. Rosanna and her older sister, who keep seeing things that aren't there. Even the go-to boys in 1B who get too many visitors all the time, who everyone wishes would just leave. Her hand is loosely twined to her mother's. She is grateful this has not happened to her alone. Wind tamps against her nightgown. She catches sight of Rosanna, but neither of them can free themselves from family. Sirens blare down 140th Street. Fire trucks slam the night. TV station vans come to the curb, promising people who the rest of the city will find out, promising this block will not be their secret anymore.
Kids.
The landlord lives in Larchmont.
28 old investment banker, hoping the real estate boom will be up Manhattan.
No experience managing a building.
456 code violations over the last 2 years.
Drives an MG midget with license plates that say gentrifier.
When the side of the building falls, they are left out on the street at first in all their shame for the world to see, in t-shirts, pajama bottoms, sweatpants, nightgowns, dirty old bathrobes, dirty in the dirty dawn, even the clean getting dirty, even the freshly laundered smelling like soap shirt and still creased Easter dress covered with dust now, with exhaustion from the block whose buildings lie hunched and tilted, lopsided, lunging from a half-century of soot, rainfall, arson, smoke. No Renaissance here, no salon where poets congregate, no jazz, no nightclub, no clumping ice against glass, no rent parties, no gargoyles guarding the buildings anymore. The photographers take pictures of the building with its back off, the rooms open, bed, dresser, crib, a tumble of sheets and blankets, laundry and ironing board, television and chair, visible from the street. Open, all open for everyone to see. Sandra watches the photographer crouch down, sandy hair mask, and give her a smile that hints he's on her side. His face is tense with admonition, eyes pleading. He doesn't want her to acknowledge she's being photographed there in her nightgown, holding her mother's hand. Her mother has her face turned away, oblivious, while she coos to Siobhan. When the side of the building falls, the ambulances come, the police, the cranes. Sandra looks at the piles of rubble, of bricks, concrete, pipes, steel frames, mattresses, shattered shelves, bent kitchen tables. The firemen go to it as they pass. Whirl of wind, stomp of boots, smell of rubber and smoke. She hears a shout over the sirens, the desperate little cough. Not everyone made it out. A kitten on unsteady legs stands in the gutter, its mewling erased. A reporter speaking into a cell phone says, "Surreal." Sandra hears, "Like Beirut or something. It's surreal." The reporter's voice rolls and rolls as she tries to raise it over the coming ambulances, police cars, fire trucks, and she says, "No, that's not it. Wait till you see this. It looks like a fucking war zone." Thanks.
So even though I edited the book, I still missed my